Okay, guys, so we'll have people jumping on, but we're going to start. I'm going to tell you how it'll go so that you'll have time for question and answers. So I'm going to introduce myself, then I'm going to give the training on the physics of money to learn how mindset is crucial for you guys to attract money and the science behind it. It's really interesting. Even though it might be a little bit nerdy, it's going to be great. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. And then I'm going to tell you how you can work with me more long term, and then we're going to have a Q&A. So make sure you stay on the end because we're going to have at least 20 minutes for you guys to ask questions, and I'll answer them. And I really love teaching. It's my favorite thing, one of my favorite things in the world to do. So I'm going to dive in and introduce myself for those of you. The other ladies have heard my story before, but some of you haven't, so you'll have to bear with me and hear it again, but there might be a new piece of it. So hi, Maria, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to dive in with my story. So I am Sarah Elizabeth Shapiro, and I'm a millionaire mindset coach. I'm a stock and real estate investor, an author, and I'm an intuitive. So I can read the chakra system. So I blend all of these skills to help my clients find their money blocks and heal their money blocks and bust through. I work with entrepreneurs mainly who are trying to bust through the 100K glass ceiling, that elusive glass ceiling, and pretty much everyone does. So I'm a licensed therapist, and I've been working in this field I've done counseling for over 20 years. I worked in New York City for a very long time, and I developed a specialty in helping people with career and money. I worked with a lot of dancers and writers. It was really wonderful. And I started online 2 years ago and became a millionaire mindset coach. And I'll tell you my story because it's fascinating. I started out with really struggling with money. I was what's called an under-earner. There's all different types of problems that we all have. And you can pop in if you feel like you relate to this. I lived in New York City, and after I had a master's degree, I only made $28,000 a year in my early 30s. And I had to share an apartment with a roommate, and I literally had to climb over a dirty pajama couch. It was disgusting to get to the bathroom and the kitchen. So I did not have a car. I had to struggle to go on vacations. I really had to really question if I was going to order dessert. Like, it was really kind of crazy. And it was in New York City, so it was very difficult. And I struggled with money for at least 10, 12 years. I had I really went from $28,000 a year to over $2 million of net worth. And this took a few years. It wasn't overnight, but everything happened overnight for me within actually 1 year, 6 months to 1 year, where I quadrupled my income from 28,000. I went to over 100 in 1 year. And I'll tell you how that happened. In the 90s, in my early 30s, I took a yoga training course, and I had a mystical experience. While I was meditating, I started seeing auras and chakras in front of people, colors, but my eyes were closed. And I started receiving and downloading messages about the universe, about Eastern and Western medicine. I just saw an emoji. So who here is spiritual? Throw that out if you're into that kind of stuff, that cosmic stuff. But my course is not all spiritual. It's a mix of the spiritual, metaphysical, and the practical. Like, it all has to be mixed together. So anyway, after I had the spiritual awakening, I hired a spiritual teacher, and she helped me within 6 months. I started teaching chakra workshops all over New York City, sold out workshops. It was before the internet was big. And I started making over $100,000 a year. My private practice was booming. I stopped under earning. It was crazy. I started investing and learning how to invest money. And in my mid 30s, I started making a ton of money in the stock market. And everything I touched turned to gold. And when it crashed, I actually got out right before it crashed. And I had guidance about that. So for some reason, I've had this incredible, I wouldn't say luck, money magnetism. And I'll explain why. And the two things that happened to me that were different than up until 32 is I was applying spiritual principles to earning money, and also emotional. I dealt with my emotions around money and my self-worth. And I really struggled with my self-worth. I want to share with you, I was from an alcoholic family. My father was an alcoholic. My mom was the codependent. Maybe other people here relate to that. So it wasn't some perfect childhood with a lot of money. We were okay, but my father struggled and it was very difficult. So I overcame a lot and I really thrived. And I work with spirit guides, and I asked my guides, can other people learn how to do this, to go from making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to having millions and an income over 100? And I also have 2 passive income streams from a rental property and from my investments and online. So it's pretty amazing. So my guide said, yes, you can teach this. Absolutely. That I'm not special. I'm not special at all. But what happens is people don't really know how to apply these principles to money. We separate it out, okay? So tonight, the first training, so that's the gist of my story. So I'm in a fantastic position right now. I don't have multi-millions coming in, but I have enough to live on. I have a son. I take great vacations. I have a beautiful car. I have a beautiful home. I have a second home. Like, I used to have a second home, and I could again. This is real. This is real for sure. This is really real, because I went from 0 pretty much to a lot. So, and I want this to happen for you. I want you to be, and I want it. Tonight we're going to talk about the physics and science of money, just so you can understand why mindset and what you're thinking is so important, and how to get to the deeper aspect, the spiritual, okay? So it might sound a little like a science class, but you're really going to need to know this stuff. Tomorrow night we're going to cover the 3 top money blocks and how to identify them. And then the third night of the training, we're going to go over some practical tools for breaking out of these blocks, okay? And so it's more of a fun, hands-on night. So hopefully you'll come for all 3 nights. But tonight is it's really one of my passions, okay? So I'm gonna dive right in. So who's psyched to learn about the physics of money a little bit and how it applies to you? And I'm gonna apply it and tell you how you guys can use it in your life. It's not just abstract nonsense, okay? Because a lot of people talk about mindset affirmations, okay? But that doesn't mean anything great. It's like, if you understand the course of an illness, you're going to be able to do better treatment, or why the vitamins are working, right? So Shelly wants to know. You want to really know. You guys are going to be more educated than anyone online after this, okay? So I have studied quantum physics. I know that sounds really nerdy, but after my spiritual awakening in my 30s, I just got interested in physics, and quantum physics particularly. It's very related to yoga, if anyone studies yoga, okay? So we just came to understand this late. So I'm going to dive right in. So if you have questions, write them down, and I'm going to answer everything at the end, I promise you. And you can kind of pop them in here and there, okay? But just remind me. So this is not woo-woo. Yes, of course, Beth, and just share it. And that's the most important thing. I want to tell you again my biggest why. I was meditating on that tonight. Really behind the money, what I want for people is peace and connection. And if people are so worried about money, 75% of Americans are in debt and worried about money. And it can stress people out so that they can't sleep, they're working too much, they're not have time for their families or for their things that they light them up. So I, deep down in my heart, in my spiritual being, I want to bring peace to people around that aspect of life, around the energy of money, so that you can feel okay with it, like you're just swimming in an ocean and it's just something you're doing, like learning to swim. It's not something threatening or overwhelming. And that so you can spend more time with your loved ones, do the things that you love, and feel free. Because you know, in this society, you can't feel completely free without a certain amount of money. You don't need millions, but you need enough so it's not stressing you out each month, correct? Right. Okay, so we're going to start. So the science of money. So in the turn of the 19th century, the universe was explained by what's called Newtonian physics. That's particle physics. So everyone look down at a solid object like your chair or a pen or a desk, wherever you're sitting. Maybe hold on to the pen, because it will really be good to have an actual object in front of you. So Newton described this pen, I'm going to show it to you, I'm hoping you guys can see it, as made up of atoms, nothing more and nothing less, and that they were fixed, they wouldn't change, and it's a solid object. The only way to change the pen is exerting an outside force. What happened when, in the turn of the century, the father of quantum physics, who here has heard of quantum physics or a little bit about it? Like, just throw out an emoji or say yes if you have. But you'll learn a little bit more tonight, because this is why our thoughts are so powerful, okay? Quantum physics, in maybe the 19 teens, Einstein started this by his theory of relativity. The father of modern, yep, you've heard about this, Shelley, yep. But we want to apply it to learning to work with, in our business, quantum physics in our business. That's what we're going to do tonight, okay? So this is a solid object. So in the teens, Einstein, with certain types of microscopes, found out they could look into the cellular molecular structure of this pen, and they found underneath the atom is a lot of empty space. So there's energy inside of this pen, and it's actually not solid. Even our bodies, the molecular structure of our bodies, unfortunately, I know it's confusing, but we're not exactly solid beings. We're made up of atoms, and we're made up of light and energy, okay? So it's really quite cosmic, but it's actually a fact, okay? So because they looked at subatomic particles. And the coolest thing, it went further than that. So Heisenberg, who again is the father of quantum physics, came up with a theory called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And what that said was that you didn't know what was going to happen when you looked at subatomic particles under a microscope. If you looked at this pen, you wouldn't know what was going to happen. You couldn't predict it. Under Newtonian physics, this pen remained the pen. It never changed. Nothing was different. We couldn't change our universe. That was the way it was until the turn of the century. So this cool idea and science came in that was proven. And now I'm going to explain to you. So Heisenberg came up with this theory that the observer affects the observed. That means the person observing the pen can change the pen, the molecular structure of the pen. And that is actually proven. And I'm going to tell you 2 experiments that prove this, okay? So there's a really famous experiment that happened in the 20s when this first started, this quantum transition in our lives. And the general public didn't really know about it, but now I would say probably starting in the 70s and 80s, everyone started to know about it. Now it's really mainstream and we're applying it to our lives, okay? And computers are kind of based on that a little bit as well, the quantum reality. So we, again, are not solid beings. We're made up of particles and light, both wave and particle. Does that make sense so far? And you guys have heard of that. So Heisenberg and his colleagues did an experiment with boiling water. So listen to how crazy this is. They had 5 pots of boiling water in a lab. They had 5 different scientists in the same lab coat, the same heat, the same ovens, the same pot, the same amount of water, and the exact same temperature. And they did this, and what happened, they measured how long the water took to boil, and they had each scientist think of something different, like one being bored and saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. One was very calm and meditative. One was very patient. One was indifferent. So they all had different mindsets, and each pot of water boiled at a different rate within 3 minutes different. And that's technically impossible. Like under the Newtonian law, they would all boil at the same rate, the same time. Like when you make eggs, usually people's water boils at the same rate. However, what that proves is that the mind of the observer, the scientist, affected the molecular structure of the water. Molecules have consciousness, intelligence. Did you guys know that? It's so cool. Like, I get very excited saying this. So the cells of our body have intelligence. Even the molecules in an inanimate object like a rock, even though we think it has no intelligence, it has some kind of consciousness. We don't understand that in solid objects, but we do understand consciousness in our sense and with animals, right? We understand with sentient beings. So you have to understand this huge experiment proved that the observer, the mind and the thoughts of the scientist or the observer affected the physical reality. That means that you can affect money, the energy of money. It's a fact, okay? And it's proven, and I'll explain, I'm going to tell you another experiment in a minute, but I want you guys to think about this. Let's say two entrepreneurs, you know this happens all the time, have the same, very similar marketing, very similar budgets. Let's say you met someone in a group, put in the same amount of time to their business, maybe they're on the same amount of platforms, and they have the same energy and enthusiasm for their business. Let's say there's two marketing coaches. Why does somebody make $500,000 a year or $1 million in the exact same amount of time, and another person can't even break $30,000? Can you guys explain that? But that is, I would say my guides told me, and I don't know if it's a fact, but I believe them, 60% of your success is what's going on in the mind, the mindset, the thoughts, and the emotions. 40% is the physical work you do. So it doesn't mean you don't have to do the work. Don't ever forget about the 40%, okay? But you have to do that. And you have to have energy and be consistent, like Wendy and like me. However, if the mindset isn't right, you're not going to make money, okay? It's just, you're going to be blocked. So I'm going to tell you this other experiment, and then I'm going to tell you another deep, deep secret. Okay, so do you guys get how your mind affects your physical reality? So there's this other experiment that you guys might have heard about, a rice experiment by a Japanese scientist named Emoto. He's the one who does the water experiments. Have you guys ever heard of this rice experiment? I'm going to tell you about it because it's so cool and you can do it at home. And I'm actually going to do it this month because I'm passionate about it. Even though I believe it, I'm going to do it. So if you boil some white rice and maybe 2 cups and you get 2 mason jars, you put a cup of rice into one jar. You've heard of it, Eb, yep. A cup of rice into one jar and a cup of the cooked rice in another jar. You literally label with a piece of tape, I love you on one jar and I hate you on another jar. You put them on your counter and you don't do anything for a month. It always happens that the jar of rice that says I hate you starts getting very, very moldy and looks completely different than the one that says I love you. So the consciousness of I love you, it's crazy how it works. I know it's crazy, isn't it? But it's so beautiful and so moving, right? So if you guys don't believe me, try this at home because it works. Now the one that says I love you gets a teeny bit moldy, but not as much. It's very dramatic. So think about children, right? If you were told I hate you or you weren't told I love you, which a lot of people aren't, what's going to happen either inside of your body or in your heart? How are you going to feel about yourself, right? You're not going to feel very good. No way. Yes, Melinda, try it tonight, okay? But this is quantum physics. Hi, Martha. Oh, what is that? Okay. Let me explain why this is quantum physics. The rice, the subatomic particles in the rice have a consciousness. It's not that they have emotion. They're energetic. The consciousness of the rice picks up the love and the hate. Just like plants, if you don't pay any attention to them, have you noticed they just kind of wither and die? People who have got the green thumb have emotions about plants. I don't really have a green thumb, to be honest. I'm great with money, not plants. So you have to remember that rice experiment is a quantum experiment. So that if you are at any level not loving money on a deep level and feel comfortable with it, I'm not loving money in an ego way. I just feel really comfortable with it, okay? And it's an energy to me, the same way sunlight is energy, air is energy. I just don't think about it any differently, okay? So on a quantum level, the writing I love you or I hate you is communicating to the subatomic particles in the rice. Does that make sense? And it changes the physical reality. Here's a YouTube, yep. So Eb just put the link on so you guys can see it. But I want you guys to try it at home if you don't believe me. But I don't want to scare you. I don't want you to think that if you're having negative feelings, I had tons of negative feelings for years and years and years, and it didn't block, I made enough money, and you're not going to get sick. Like, if you're conscious of what you're thinking and open, nothing's going to happen. And especially if you have a spiritual practice. It doesn't mean nothing's going to happen, but I don't want you to worry about that, okay? So I want to talk about, so the most important finding that we have to go back to is the observer affects the observed, okay? Now the secret, this is the deepest secret that the people who do affirmations don't tell you, okay? Who here has done affirmations in a program and does them a lot and they don't really work that much? I like them and I believe in them very much, but there's a little bit of a twist to it that you have to understand, okay? So anyone done affirmations and they're not that great, like I easily attract more money or blah, 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 blah. We have to understand, and I'm a therapist, so I understand this, that yes, so Eb relates to that a little bit, okay? Yes, you, Maria, has had that experience. Me too. Yasmin has had that experience. Yes, Erica, everyone's had that experience. Me too. Because this is the reason. We have a conscious mind. The mind is like a iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is a conscious mind. Whatever's submerged underwater is the unconscious mind. Melinda says you don't suck it at all. Don't feel silly, because eventually, if you work with me further, I'm going to teach you how to do them and it'll actually work, okay? Because it's going to be in your vibration and it's going to be congruent with who you are. Yeah, Beth had the same problem, right? A lot of people do, and no one's teaching this. And why? The why behind it. Well, how do you make it work? Because I believe in them and they work for me now. They didn't work before. Okay, so even if you say, I love money, I'm comfortable with it, I want to make $1 million, you write it down a lot. If you're consciously saying that, but unconsciously you don't feel that way, or the thoughts and the programming are different, the unconscious mind, the part underwater, is the money magnet. That's the power place. That's what's attracting money or repelling money. So you have to know your unconscious money blocks in order to create money. And then all you guys are probably saying, well, how do I know that? Well, tomorrow night you're going to start to know it. I can promise you that. If you work with me further, you will 100% know it. You're going to know your unconscious. You just have to know your top 3 money blocks, and then all the affirmations will work, because you're making the vibration of the unconscious is very powerful. It's the same with relationships, right? Because people are saying, I'm going to get an available man, blah, 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 blah. And you keep attracting the same person over and over again because you haven't worked on the inner stuff yet. Okay? Does that make sense? So we are in a quantum reality. Money is energy. Okay, let's redefine this for a minute. Who here thinks money is limited? The amount of money is limited in the universe. No one's going to admit that. But you might think it unconsciously. But think about the reality of the energy of money right now. If the United States wants more money to circulate for the economy, no, you don't believe that. Good, Shelley. But on an unconscious level, you do, because you'd be making more. I'm not trying to out you, but it's not you. It's everyone here. 90% of people in the world have money blocks. 90%. It's very, very uncommon for people to have no money blocks. Maybe Warren Buffett, that's probably about it. And very few people, okay? And I had major blocks for 10 adult years, okay? And that's why I want to teach this. Good. Yasmin doesn't believe it's limited, but think about this. I want you to change your perception of money. Now money, the mint prints money whenever it needs more money in circulation, right? It can print billions of dollars if it feels like it. So there's no limit. Also, think about the energy metaphor. Money is now ones and zeros. If I wanted to take out I have a couple of $1 million in the bank. If I wanted to take out that cash tomorrow, I couldn't get that cash because it's ones and zeros. It's electronic. I can get the cash eventually, but it's just energy right now. It's just a whole bunch of little ones and zeros on a computer chip somewhere. Does that make sense? And we're all exchanging energy when you buy stuff on a credit card, right? There's not gold that's backing that. So think about the energy exchanges we make with money every single day. So I want you to think of money More like sunlight. Is there enough sunlight for you? If you're on a beach, is there enough sunlight for everyone on that beach? Yes, right. Unless someone's standing in front of you with an umbrella, right? Or you're purposely putting up the umbrella. Is there enough water for you on that beach? Yes. There's enough for everyone on this planet. Yes, Amy, it's true. And I said this at the other training because it's important to go over this. So again, money is energy, and it's responding to your unconscious mindset, the quantum field that you're putting out, your energy. But it's not what your conscious mind is saying. Do you guys get that? But I want to say something about, quote, poor people, because a lot of people start feeling guilty. And when I first became an entrepreneur, I'm like, well, what about people in Africa? What about people in India? The internet actually is very, very spiritual. It's leveling the playing field, because if a woman, a young girl, let's say who's 18, who lives in India, a very poor city, if she can get to a computer, or if someone can teach her, if she made jewelry, let's say she sold it on Etsy, and let's say she made $50 a month, that could be close to $5,000 a month in her village. The value could be the same. So people have, if they have access to a computer and can learn, and most people do now in a library, they can enter what we're entering. So it's a kind of democratic system online, and it's very beautiful because it's enabling people, empowering people to earn money who are in difficult situations, especially women in oppressed cultures. Does that make sense? So there's a very spiritual thing going on. As much as people complain about the internet, it's energy, and it's about the oneness of the universe. There's something really beautiful going on, even though sometimes we complain about it. Okay? But let's get back to money and quantum physics. Okay? So I want to also explain to you that the ancient yogic system, what's called the Vedic system, does anyone do yoga? They figured this quantum field out 3,000 years ago. And now it took Americans and Europeans till the 1900s to figure it out. Okay, so we are, again, not solid beings. We are made up of energy and love. Oh, Ian wants to know. Okay. Yes, so you guys get that. Okay, so do you guys think that the rice experiment is cool? Who's going to try that? Anyone? I'm actually going to try it this one. So I'm going to tell you, so again, I'm going to review. The observer of quantum physics proves that the observer affects the observed. Me, Riddles is going to try it. That means the individual person affects physical reality. It's a fact. The molecular structure changes depending on who's viewing it and the consciousness of that person. Do you guys get that? That's huge. The second principle you have to get is your unconscious mind is the most powerful. It's more powerful than your conscious mind, because you guys all want to make more money, and sometimes you're not doing it. So my job is to help you get to the unconscious and to figure that out. And to chill. Beth is going to try it too. Cool. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit, hold on, a little bit about the program that I've created. It's a new program called Millionaire Alchemy. And just stay on for the questions. I'm only going to spend 5 minutes on the program, and then we're going to move on, because in case you guys are interested in going deeper, you can. And I will guarantee this program is called Millionaire Alchemy Mentorship. And I want to explain why I'm working with Wendy, because I didn't explain that at the beginning. I am the millionaire mindset expert in a mastermind that Wendy's in with many other people. And I have worked with Wendy one-on-one as her money coach, and she really got a lot out of the session and loved it. And then she used me for some privates and lives in her groups, and we've really clicked together, and we have a very similar vibration, right? Wendy, she meditates and she believes in quantum physics. We love the same books, and we just felt like we're a really good team, because I'm not a fantastic marketer. I'm really good with money. I didn't tell you this other story about my stock, and I'm going to tell you it before the program, just so you understand how powerful this is. I as an example of my money magnetism. Like, it's just crazy. So I worked in this mastermind, and Wendy and I clicked, and we're a really perfect pair. Like, we just have the same vibration, and I think we're a great team. And Wendy said she made $33,000 shortly after her session was there. Yep, that actually happened. So, another thing that happened is everyone I worked in that program made some money after two really remarkable things. One person got a gift out of nowhere of $10,000 the next day, and she was really struggling. So it wasn't earning it, she received it. And then another client from that same mastermind made a $10,000 sale, his first $10,000 sale the next day after our session. But I opened something up, okay? It's not me. My consciousness and their consciousness work together. It's an alchemy, and we work with the universe to create money. I call it creating money, not making it. We create it. Does that make sense, you guys? I want you to change your languaging. Okay, we're going to create money. So the program is called Millionaire Alchemy Mentorship, and again, we're just going to talk about it for 5 minutes and then dive right into the question and answer. It is an 8-week program. It's very in-depth, and I use just as a paradigm. It's not woo, it's very down to earth. There's a module for each week, there's homework for each week, and it's based on the chakra system. Do any of you guys know about that? Like the first chakra, 7 major chakras, all of your money blocks are stored in each chakra. So each week we go through and unblock, but we do practical things and we do spiritual things. So like budget, things like budgets, things like investing. It's not all woo-woo here. It's like real down to earth. And because I've invested in real estate and the stock market and made tons and tons of money. So we go through the second chakra, the third, we clear out all of your blocks. By the end of the 8 weeks, I can almost guarantee that you will triple your investment. And for just tonight, Wendy and I are offering a deal. It's $997, and for the first 10 people that sign up, we're going to offer it for $200 off with a special code that Wendy's going to give you if you jump on it. But you have to two criteria: you have to pay in full and jump on the offer within an hour after the live. So if we end at 8:30, by 9:30 in your time, or an hour after, it'll be registered on the clock. Then you can get $200 off, and it'll be $797. And we're not going to offer this again. I wanted a low price. These money programs are very, very expensive. They can be $5,000. I wanted to have many people have access to it. However, another thing that you should know about Millionaire Alchemy Mentorship is that I'm limiting it to 25 people because I really want to have one-on-one. We're going to have a private Facebook group. We're going to have our Q&As in the group. I'm going to have bonuses in the group. I'm going to be really, really in there with you guys because I love it. And I love nothing more than teaching and helping. And my heart is devoted to you guys breaking through this stuff and succeeding. And Wendy has the link down there. So probably enough about the program unless you guys want to ask questions. I want you guys to have time to ask questions about quantum physics. But I'm going to tell you a little story before the Q&A so that you understand. Again, I want to tell you what the word alchemy is, because you guys, it's really cool, and I think some of you know what it is. It's an ancient belief and practice of turning base metals such as lead into gold, okay? And a lot of alchemists tried to do that in ancient times, and some people did. But this is a metaphor for what we're going to be doing. In the program, we're taking all of your negative money and limiting beliefs, that lead, and we're transforming it into gold within 8 weeks, and it can happen. I have transformations in 3 sessions, so I'm positive it can happen in 8 weeks. If you do the work, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And crazy magic happens in this program, and that's why I love it, because it's not all push and shove, but there is practical things you're going to do, but it's also really fun and magical, okay? So I'm going to tell you that little story, and then we're going to go into our Q&A. About anything you guys want. Are you guys with me? Yeah. So the story is when one of my biggest money breakthrough magic that happened. I got married late in life at 40, and I had a baby at 40, and he's not a baby anymore. And I was sitting at my computer, my new Mac computer in 2003 when my son was born, and it was before the iPhone or the iPad. And I got this crazy download. I was sitting there saying, invest in Apple stock. And this is before anyone was really into Apple. And I kept hearing it. And it was very mystical. And I loved the computer. And I was like, this energy is so beautiful. So I had a stockbroker at the time. I didn't have tons of money in the market at that time. A couple $100,000. It didn't get to millions until early 40s, but it jumped. So listen to this. So I invested, it was $18 a share. I bought 1,000 shares, $18,000 of Apple stock. So you guys know about Apple. 7 years later, that same $18,000 was worth $750,000. So almost $1 million. So I sold some of that and bought property. I reinvested it. I bought other stocks. So I'm really into the stock market. And I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about that in the program. If you're interested, not a lot, but you're going to learn a little bit about how to do it, okay? But I'm an intuitive investor. Almost every single stock I pick, I'm given, and they go up. Like I have Tesla and things like that, okay? So now that you know, so I have these crazy magnetism for money, and it happens with real estate too, okay? And I question that. Why? And it's because I did the emotional work, the self-worth, and the spiritual. And I'm allowing spirit to work with me, and I'm integrating that into my business, and I want you guys to do it too. So let's dive in. Any questions about quantum physics or how to change your mind, the experiments, any questions about molecular structure, about alchemy, about the program, anything that you guys want, let's dive in. Maybe this isn't a huge Q&A class because it's more of a teaching. Tomorrow night there'll be a lot more questions because it's very personal. Like we're going to get to the blocks. Does anybody have any questions? And then on, as I said, the third night we're going to go directly into the practical tools to unblock. Is everyone gone? Anybody have any questions? Nope. I'm going to stay here for a while. But I really, really enjoyed talking to you, and I love teaching, and I'm excited about tomorrow night. I get really excited when people have those breakthroughs. Like nothing is more rewarding to me. Okay, what are some of your best money affirmations? Oh, that's great. Erica, vision boards help only if you know your blocks. Does that make sense? Like if you're only making a vision board, but really deep down, tomorrow night we're going to get into this in detail. We are here. Okay, perfect. No, Erica, I'm going to say that vision boards, again, only help if you've done the deeper work, okay? They'll be okay. They'll be really powerful once you dig deep down. Like, for example, if you're, again, we're going to get into this in detail tomorrow. Let's say your parents said, money doesn't grow on trees. Say you're 30 and you heard that your whole life and you left the house at 18. That's a recording in your mind and you're going to be blocked. It makes sense. You get that, okay? Because your vibration is different. Your external vibration, your conscious mind, and your internal vibration is not congruent, right? It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Like sometimes I get annoyed, occasionally I'll think, oh, I don't have the money. I feel like I have the money to do most things. I get annoyed at a lot of other things though. Don't get me wrong. My unconscious mind I have to work on with people and things like that. Let's see. Eb asks, what are some of my favorite affirmations? Let's see. I like to say miracles. I know this doesn't sound like money, but I would write it down. Miracles happen over calm seas. I am open to receiving money in unexpected and magical ways. You can write that down. I'm open to receiving money in unexpected and magical ways because it's keeping you open. Not like I need to make $50,000 from this launch. Yes, you can say that, but you're limiting the universe's power. Let me read some of these other questions. I just bought materials to make another vision board. I'll wait until this weekend and get rid of some of the... Yes, Christy. So do this training. Get rid of some of the blocks. If you want to take the program, you're going to really blast through it. It's like the kind of cleanse of all the money blocks. It's going to be the most powerful cleanse you'll have. And there's no other program that does holistic money coaching. There aren't, because they just teach one or the other. They're not teaching all of it. Like the practical, how do you invest? How do you make a budget? How do you do the spiritual? What works? What doesn't work? I'm blocked. How do I unblock? How do you get, this is Beth, how do you get in touch with what you are really destined to do? I know I'm creative, but not sure what I want to create to make money. Yes, that's great, Beth. Clarity. I would recommend, really, to pay attention to your dreams. There's many things you can do. Journaling, paying attention to your dreams, and intuition. Like, I would pay attention to the top 3 things you like to do the most. Like, if you like art, maybe you'll be a branding coach. If you like, maybe you're not going to be online. I don't know. Do you want to be bricks and mortar? If you love swimming, there could be something with swimming. I don't know. So write down the top things you love, and then work around. I actually work one-on-one with people. If you'd like to message me, we can maybe even set up a one-on-one session. It would take about 3 sessions to figure that out, in my mind, intuitively. That's about it. Let's see. So does that help, Beth? Let's see, Lisa. When does the 8-week program start? That starts January 2nd. So you've got about a month to think about it, and it's really a great price. If you look into the other money programs, I've looked into them, they're usually $3,000 to $5,000 for the same time. And we're not going to keep it at Wendy and I, because it's new. I just created it. Again, I want people to have an opportunity to get in on the ground level, and get in for a good price. And tonight you can get in for $797, so under $1,000. But that you'd have to pay in full. The other, you can do a payment plan, which is 5 weeks. So if you can read the link, and it'll tell you everything about, if you're a little curious, read the sales page and it'll tell you the whole details about the program. You can scroll down if you want. Wendy, January 2nd. Thanks. Oh, Lisa said, thanks, Wendy. Does anyone have any other questions about physics, the mind, how you're affecting money, affirmations, anything that you'd like? I'm going to have a little sip. And if this, you want this to feel in alignment with your soul, Wendy and I work from the soul, and if it's feeling in alignment, check it out. If it's not feeling in alignment, no. Cassandra, hi Cassandra, she might watch the replay. Anybody else would like to ask some questions? No. So tomorrow night, I'm going to wait a little bit longer until 8:30 and just hang out. And Wendy said $997, only 25 people, $200 off if you pay in full. 5-month payment plan available on $997. Yep. Cassandra said she will. Watch the replay, Cassandra. You'll like it. And come tomorrow night and Thursday night. I'm fine with people, if you don't have the money right now, to get I like giving back. And if you're getting a lot out of these trainings, it's fantastic. But again, we're going to go deeper and more intense in the program that's starting January 2nd, Millionaire Alchemy Mentorship. And again, we're giving a great price tonight for only the people who are on the training now for tonight. And again, you need to sign up in 1 hour after the program, after the training, if you'd like to get that $797 price and lock it in. And as I said, Wendy and I said we're limiting the amount of people so that you get a lot of one-on-one with me, and well, within the group setting. So Eb, I've understood that we need to create the energy prior to receiving what we want, especially around, absolutely, yes. So if you're in a higher vibration, it doesn't mean that you're tired. For example, if you're generally in the right mindset, let's say you're launching a program and you're tired one day, that doesn't mean no one's going to sign up. That's just not going to happen. So your kid is sick. If you're generally in the right vibration, the universe is going to work with you, and you're giving messages to the universe all the time. Showing up, even coming to this training, is telling the universe something. It's saying, I am serious about money. I am serious about learning. You're taking out an hour and a half of your day. You're giving a message. You're communicating back and forth. Does that make sense? Let's see what else. How do you stay positive when you have children that run around acting like complete nut jobs? And I'm serious. I struggle with positivity and mindset because I'm a single mother and it's so stressful. Oh, Whittles, I'm a single mother too, and it's very stressful. I only have one though, so it's easier, and you probably have young kids. What you have, first of all, you have to do kind of mini breaks. If you do, like even 15 minutes, that's got to be enough, and you're going to have to find a way. I would absolutely recommend listening to meditations online that are guided, because it's too hard to get quiet. Do you know about Deepak Chopra? Look up his guided meditations and only do 15-minute ones. That's what I say. I would try to schedule 15-minute breaks throughout the day. You have to learn, if you can, try to learn to meditate. Even 10 minutes. I know with kids it drives you bonkers. It is very hard, but you have control. We have control over how we respond to our situation. You're going to have to do mind training. They are 4 and 6, and I have screamed probably 15 times since I've been trying. That's true, but that's that age, and it's a lot of energy. And it's hard. It doesn't... Also cultivating a sense of humor, because it's true. It's just the truth as it is. There's a book called Loving What Is. You might want to look at that, because it's a big mess with little guys and they're just running around and you feel interrupted and feel stressed. But as I told you, you have to take mini breaks, tiny things. Meditation, get a bath in, a walk in every day if you can, and they're just going to have to be in front of the tube or the iPad to get your time out. You have to have even mini self-care breaks, and then maybe a family member watching them once a week. No matter what, try to get out with friends. I don't care if it's going out drinking. You need to change your energy and watch comedies. That's what I do. So I do a lot of self-care. Erica said, I hope that's helpful, Whittles, but I am a single mom too. I do have a little help, but I have no family here. Erica Earls, I'm so excited about this. I've been led to learn Reiki in March. So this is so in alignment. Oh, Erica, that's fantastic. So remember, we're going to be working, I want to reiterate, we're going to be working with energy and metaphysics, but also physical reality. Like, I'm down to earth. You have to be down to earth and grounded in order to make money, okay? Wendy is very spiritual, but she's very grounded. She shows up every day. She does her live. She works her brains out. And same with me. But it doesn't mean that it's always struggling, because I allow the universe to work with me as well. I allow that, and I teach that. How do you do that? What's the balance between how much effort I put in and when the universe comes in? Where do I find that balance? But again, you're going to even learn practical things like, how do I learn about the stock market? Can I make passive income? You're not going to just, it's not all woo-woo. There's real structure to this. I love this program because I'm teaching what I learned. And I own real estate. I own 3 pieces of real estate. I own a couple of $1 million of stock. I have income flowing in and 3 different sources of income. And it's pretty great, and I love it. And I give back. Whittles, thank you so much. It was so great to meet you. And Maria says this app tonight has a lot of great meditations. Oh, app Insight Timer, cool. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Meditation, if you can do the quiet meditation on your own, that's great. Guided is okay. But we're training the mind to be quiet. Now, again, I want to comment on, bye, Yasmin. Thank you so much for your jumping off. Everyone's jumping off. Thank you. Bye, Eb. It was great to meet you. Thank you, guys. Maybe you'll come back tomorrow evening because it's the block. We're going to get more into the specific blocks, okay? Is anyone planning on coming back tomorrow? Any more questions? I'm going to hang out for 5 more minutes and see. I did want to talk a little bit about meditation, and maybe I'll do it tomorrow when more people are on. Unless you guys, maybe if there's 4 or 5 people still here, we'll talk about it. Because you're tapping into the quantum field. You're changing your consciousness. Yes. Hi, Amber. I can talk about it tonight. Yes, Gigi. Okay. I'm going to talk about that. Yasmin. Okay, good. I'm going to talk about that for 5 minutes because it's really important, okay? Good, you'll be there. Oh, you guys are saying you're going to be there tomorrow and Thursday. You should try if you can, because you're going to get a lot out of it, and then you're going to get a taste of the ongoing program, okay? So maybe I'll wait till tomorrow night for the meditation to tell you about it. But again, the short version is that when you quiet the mind, love it. I'm a computer programmer, so Tiptoe between the two, physical and spirit. Cool, Erica. I love that. I'll have to catch the replay tomorrow. We'll for sure tune in tomorrow. Oh, great, Beth. It'll be great to see you. So when we quiet the mind, remember, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I teach the chakra system. Like, I've been teaching metaphysics for many, many years. So it's part of my life. But meditation, you don't stop the thoughts, but you're quieting the mind and you're entering the quantum field, the field of pure potentiality. Okay? So you're entering the invisible world, the kind of womb of creation, as I call it. And that's when you can let go of your ego mind around money. You can let go of all your agendas. And then that is when you receive inspired insights, and that your whole being, your soul, is refreshed. And you're able to come back to work in a different vibration. Okay? So we don't want to be leading always with our ego and pushing. We want to be leading with our soul. Does that make sense? The ego kind of does the practical tasks, but it shouldn't ultimately be the decision maker. Okay? Your higher self is the decision maker. We'll for sure be back tomorrow. So about a few more minutes, I'll hang out and then see if there's any more questions. Wendy, do you have any questions? Wendy's a big meditator. Does that help you get quiet? Okay, guys, Wendy. In meditation, when I receive clarity and peace to all my questions, yes, that's true. Same with me. Guidance, you get divine downloads, and or you're able to hear the clearest answer and the best answer. Right. How long do you meditate a day, Wendy? You guys are awesome. I think we're about to sign off. And if there's any more questions, jump on now. Oh, Yasmin loves meditation. Great. 20 to 30 minutes. Me too. Yep. That's about all you need to tap in. Where my body heals, nothing else happens. Amber, that's true. That's true. But other things do. It'll start infusing your business, that energy. Okay? Because then your soul is connecting with the divine source in a meditation. So no more questions. So I'm going to sign off, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see some of you tomorrow night. And make sure to take a look at the link and maybe read through the program and see if it's right for you. And I'd love to see some of you sign up. Have a wonderful evening. And don't forget, tonight you can get your $200 off with the code that Wendy left if you sign up after the training tonight. Okay? Thank you, guys. Good night. Have a wonderful evening.